What makes us more happy? Is it giving or taking? We all know the answer, right? It's giving. Yes, but why? Welcome to Think Third Perspective. When you are giving something or taking something, in both these transactions, there are three parties involved: the giver, the taker, and the universe or God. And in both these transactions, there are two active parties and one passive party. Let's take a scenario where you are waiting for a lift. So you are the taker, you want the lift. You're waiting there and asking for a lift. There is somebody who stops the car and gives you a lift. So who are the active parties here and who is the passive party? So you might think you are actively asking for the lift, right? You're asking for the lift. But in reality, you are passive because you have no control in making the transaction happen. You can ask as long as you want till somebody stops, you don't get the lift. So it is the person who is stopping the car and giving you the lift and God who are the active parties, and you are just a passive party when you're taking something. Now let's reverse the role. You are driving somewhere and there is somebody who's actively asking for a lift and you actively stop the car and you give a lift. So who are the active parties? The person who's asking the lift and you're actively giving. You can actually look up and say, look God, what I have done. Because you have done a good deed. So are you with me? So when you are a taker, you have no control whether somebody stops the car or not. So the person who's giving the lift and God, they are playing active roles. Whereas when you are giving the lift, there's actively somebody asking and you're actively giving and God is just setting the scenario. See that? That is why giving gives you more happiness. But let's go a step further. Now, is that the reason why giving brings in more happiness? Not really. That is one reason. But the main reason is, any time you give something, if you don't give it, you won't even know there was a requirement. So let's say you're driving and if somebody would not ask you for a lift, would you know there was a requirement for somebody to be given a lift? Or somebody walks in and says, hey, can you please give me 1,000 rupees? Till that person walks in, you won't even know there is a requirement. Whereas from the taker's point of view, there is always a requirement. That is why you're asking. So imagine from the giver's point of view, if nobody asks you, there is no requirement, your life will go on as it is. So that is why when you do something which is not required of you, giving brings in more happiness. So now, is charity giving or taking? It depends on which angle you're looking at it from. For example, I want to give somebody a lift and I start driving. Then I become the taker because I have a need to give the lift. I'm no longer a giver. I want to find somebody who's actively asking for a lift to give them a lift. So I'm driving around looking for somebody to give a lift. Or I want to give somebody $1,000. I have to go ask people, hey, do you want money? Do you want money? It's always when you give something when there is no requirement known to you, till that time it becomes giving. Then charity brings in happiness. Otherwise, you're just a taker. You're not a giver. So, next time when you give something to somebody, think about it. Are you giving it because you have a need to give, or you're giving it suddenly because a requirement came up? So start giving and bring in more happiness to your life. If you find this video useful, please like, subscribe and share. Thank you.